So
Uh,
hello there, everybody, and welcome to Assassin. I am Neil. I will be your DM, and this is Rob. He will be your player. Rob, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I think we can promise everyone an incredibly dynamic show. Both people involved, first names are action verbs, so you can't get more action-packed than that.
Absolutely not.
What other show can make that claim? What other show can make that claim?
Wow. So, for those of you that don't know, Rob and I have been playing D&D for a long time, both together and separately as individuals. I've been playing since like the late 90s. So what is that? That's about 20 years now. Rob, you've been playing a little bit longer than me, I believe.
Yes, late 90s, you child of summer. These were my first D&D books. 1981.
Are those the original ones that you had in 1981, or are these replacements for the ones that have been worn down?
Those are the books from 1981. So
Wow.
OG D&D player.
To the max.
That's right. Rolling dirty. I'm rolling, they hating.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to in the last week or so? I hear you might be working on a new Twitter handle.
Yes, you asked me about a Twitter handle, and first I was like, what do I need that for? I thought, maybe I should get one. Just something simple, says who I am and maybe what I'm about. I'm going to become, as you know, I'm studying to become a therapist, and so I thought right there, just Rob therapist, just Rob. And I was thinking that there's no way just a nice, simple Twitter handle like that could ever come back to life. Certainly never, get me arrested or anything. Rob, therapist.
That's a good idea, but why don't you sleep on it for a week, and we'll come back to it, and maybe we'll come up with something a little bit better. Not better, because that's not bad, but something more wonderful next week.
I don't know. I was thinking, maybe I'd run that by, I have a friend who's a police officer, and he's generally, he works PR at the police office, and I figure he's got a case for these things.
Yeah.
Rob therapist. See what he thinks.
Yeah. That's it. So we'll have a new player for you guys next week, but for this week, we'll have Rob here. Let's talk a little bit about what Assassin is. Assassin is a single-player campaign, as you can clearly tell, and it involves murder. No ifs, ands, ors, or buts about it. Our job here is to kill people that probably deserve to be killed, maybe not, but it's all for the greater world order. This is a homebrewed campaign. It takes place in Arcadia, which is my world setting, and our assassin here will be working for Malchus, the god of chaos, whose philosophy is that when things are rough and chaotic and turbulent, that's when the strongest people rise to the top. And so if you want to make the world a better place, you gotta stir the pot and you gotta mix it up and you gotta let chaos reign supreme, and then naturally the very best will rise to the top. And so we're here to destabilize a world that is going very, very well. Too well. And so we're here to kill some people.
Yeah, and I just want to say, because the thing that I'm known for on some other show is making completely broken characters, that basically, Neil broke my ankles and really limited what I could do here. So if you're
Yes.
looking at my character and you're thinking, Rob could have done so much better, I absolutely agree. Every time I did, Neil said, "Oh no, you can't do that either. We're adding that to the restrictions."
No. You can't take that feat. No. The background's not acceptable. No, can't use those stats. Yeah, I've definitely hobbled him. If you've seen Rob and I play before, you'll know that with the very slightest character, he will very quickly overpower your campaign and derail it and break it. And it's wonderful and fun. But I figured for a game like this, we needed to push Rob to his limits. So we've given him a character that is workable, but has a lot of growth potential, is what we're calling it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're gonna just kind of hop into game here. You are going to be sitting in a tea house just outside of the town of Confluence because your watcher is the term, kind of your handler here with the organization, is meeting you here for your very, very first job. You've never killed anyone for the organization, roughly sort of known as the Architects. And this is going to be your first time. Is there anything we should know about your character before we hop into game?
Well, I would be sitting there, a picture. He wouldn't be dressed quite as the wonderful character art. Awesome. Just be dressed fairly inconspicuously. In this case, just as a traveling bard, he'd strumming a little bit on his, wearing a multicolored jacket with strips of cloth tied to bits of ribbon, and sitting beside him is this cat, strumming his down.
And what is your cat's name?
Sophie.
Sophie. This is not the first Sophie that you've had, is it? I feel like I've seen you with a cat named Sophie before.
I don't remember what other cat was. I think this is Sophie, although not my first cat.
Okay.
Other people remember it. Elven cat.
Right. That's a different one. Let me see.
It's not an OP cat that's stronger than the entire party. This is just a normal cat, making it fairly stronger than a wizard.
Right. This is, yeah. I think your mic was a little bit low, but I've boosted your volume and we'll be good from here, I hope. So you are sitting in a little tea shop just south of Confluence, waiting for Ripley to show up, waiting for your watcher to show up. And sure enough, after maybe a half hour of sitting down at this lovely and quite quiet tea shop that doesn't have very many patrons, a courier sits down next to you. You recognize her face to be Ripley, your watcher. She's about 5'4", 136 pounds. She's a human female in her 40s somewhere with medium-length wavy brown hair, some soft freckles, deep-set brown eyes, and speaks to you with a soft, straight, and even tone. And she starts off by saying, not looking at you, of course, but just sitting next to you and looking off into the distance. Are you ready for your first mission? It's simple and open, meaning she doesn't know you're coming, and the manner of her death is of no importance to us.
What that mean?
Well, it may not sound too bad, and she may not know that you're coming for her, but she's armed and dangerous. You be careful.
Who's this Walking Dead?
She's your predecessor. Her name is Sarah Wilkins.
Not that she
She flubbed a job. A watchman on the docks of High Castle. He needed to disappear overnight without raising any questions or alarms, and had no idea that he was marked for death. Simple and secret. She knocked him off the dock into the water late at night. It would have been perfect. There are people drown there all the time, especially in the canals. Except this guy was a strong swimmer, and Wilkins missed it when she was assessing him. She got away, but our smuggler didn't. I told her to come here, to Confluence, and hide low for a little while.
Seems the point of her life was to be an object lesson to others. Where can I find her? How will I know?
She's 5'3", 127 pounds, short, straight black hair, with bells on a string tattooed around her left ankle. She's been spending most of her time at the Forester here in Confluence. It's a tavern near the entrance of town, and is armed with a hidden weapon, an enchanted stiletto known as Kiss. It was made at the beginning of this last age, during the times of troubles and chaos. Those were good days. The point is impossibly sharp and never dulls. This blade has served our cause well for many generations, being passed from agent to agent, until it fell into her hands, and soon into yours.
Where does she hide this one?
Ripley shakes her head. I don't know. Somewhere on her at all times, though. And one last thing. For this project, you're going to be on your own. Normally, I would be here to provide you with material support or aid if you need it, but Wilkins knows my face. And on top of that, you need to prove yourself. You've got about 2 weeks before she gets suspicious. Chaos calls the weak.
Gives rise to the great.
She gives you a brief nod, stands up, pays for her tea, and walks away, leaving you just outside of the town of Confluence. And this here, everybody, is the town of Confluence. We are going to be off the map a little bit, just maybe a mile out of town or so.
All right, are we still in the tea house, or are we teleporting?
Yes. No, we are still in the tea house, and if Ripley's leaving shortly, so if you want to talk to her, you can, but she's about to back off.
All right, no, that's fine. I after she leaves, I pet Sophie. I pull out, hanging around my neck, a small pouch. I pour out the contents, 12 copper coins. Pick up one, whirl it around on my finger a little bit, looking at it. And I say, Leonardo. And then I put them all away. And put the one that I've been twirling around away last of all.
Can you tell us a little bit about Sophie while you're playing with your coins and naming them, perhaps? What type of... Is Sophie like a Bond villain cat? Like the big white fur and the angry face? Or is it more of a Dr. Evil cat with absolutely no fur?
No, she's a fairly standard cat. Nothing that you would take a second look at. Black with some white on her. Just nothing sinister, not particularly spoiled or anything. She's just a little fluffier than most, but that's about it.
Little fluffier than most. Okay.
Or fairly ordinary looking cat that would not arouse any suspicion at all.
Sure. And will probably survive the whole campaign. Okay, well, welcome to Confluence. It might be your first time here. I don't know. You might have passed through it before, or this might be your very first time entering the town. But here you are. You're at the base of the town, ready to walk in as you please. You know that Forester, the tavern, is right here where I'm pinging. And yeah, I think that's everything that we need to know for now.
All right. So first off is not to go to Forrester.
No.
First off, I am going to go in. I've got my instrument. I've got a bundle, something or some things long on my back, wrapped up in my bedroll and bound with leather strips.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk into the center of town. I'll have my lute out, playing a bit here and there. Um, I'll have Sophie perched up on my shoulder, riding along. She's used to that. And I'm just getting the lay of the land here. In particular, I'm looking at other taverns, and I'm looking for maybe some of the seedier taverns or any signs that I might recognize that would indicate, you know, thieves guild involvement.
You're looking for those dirty underworld elements.
Yes, the amateurs.
All right. Well, let's walk you into town. Could you make me? I want it to be a charisma check. I don't know if there might be a substat that will work for 5e for this. Let's see. Yeah, why don't you make me an investigation check as you walk around town, and you're kind of looking about for those criminal elements. Yeah. So as you make your way through the main street and into the town square there, everything looks to be on the up and up. You don't see any scoundrels hiding in the shadows. There's no deals going down off on the side. The people that are about look to be fairly well-spoken and honest individuals, except for the farmers. They're definitely not well-spoken, but they look pretty honest. This looks to be a wonderful place filled with happy, law-abiding citizens who are continuing to to push the already established corrupt world along.
The Thieves Guild may be a little less amateur than I thought.
Okay. So here you are in the market square. What's your plan?
Again, getting the lay of the land. It would be good to start getting a sense of where I might purchase some allies. So that actually brings up, what do I have in terms of resources monetarily?
Ooh, I should have told you that. You have 14 days to complete your mission. You have 3,000 copper for your resources to start it off. Ripley would have handed you a bag of mixed gold, silver, and copper that totals about 3,000 in copper, or 30 gold for those of you that are still on the gold standard, which is a little outdated. Yeah, that's what you got.
Well, I am glad that you are making gold standard references rather than trying to make the new audience do math.
I'll hold their hand, but I will bring them kicking and screaming to the true copper standard that all D&D should be played in.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's the future. I swear. Just trust me, in 5 years, everyone will be using the copper standard because it makes way more sense than the gold standard. I will defend it till my dying breath.
All right, I'm gonna look around for inns, and I think the first day I'm gonna go from inn to inn. I'll spend a few coppers on beer. I'm trying to get a sense, both professionally, what are places that I might be able to make some coin playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say spend an hour at each inn, and I'm listening for the sound of thieves' cant to see if anywhere I hear phrases being worked into conversations that I recognize as carrying more meaning.
Sure. The two inns in town are actually back towards the front entrance of town. Down by the Forester on your right. Oops, let me show chat. The Forester on your right is a tavern that also has rooms upstairs, and to the left, on the left side of the street, there is a inn called the Last Home, and that one is located right here. Those are the two places that one could get a room for the night.
Okay, so just those two. Gotcha.
Confluence is a smallish town. I think I said 5,400 people, so 5,400 people. And most of them are farmers with just this little urban area right here.
Are there any taverns as well? I imagine that on Friday nights they can't fit 25 people in a tavern.
There are taverns kind of just scattered everywhere. Regular upfront taverns, and then the sort of tavern where it's just like, I have a bar in my basement and I invite 40 people over every day to hang out there. The not quite legal, but not really illegal because there's no problem with it. Sort of joints all over the place.
All right. So I definitely am putting the taverns into my scouting out here as much as I can. So I guess maybe let's say that all told I hit 5 different taverns.
Sure. Let me make some notes here. 5 taverns. And you can get the lay of the land pretty well with these. What sort of information are you trying to figure out?
Mainly, I'm trying to find any way to connect with any thieves guild that might be here. So as I said, I'm listening for anyone to put thieves' cant into a conversation. Not necessarily with me, but just if I overhear people at another table, I make sure I place myself to overhear conversations. And I'm also on a professional level, both for appearances and in case it's useful, seeing if there's, sort of casing each place to see would this be a good place to play as a cover to make some money.
Sure. Just north of where you are, a couple of blocks, is a brewery right here on your right. And as you're stopping by, because they're giving out free samples of their latest ale that they call the Boar's Head, you hear a couple of people taste testing the latest ale, and you definitely catch one of them use the thieves' cant word for rob or mug, in the context of I bumped into a guy last night who turned out to be worth my time, which is you can piece together as I robbed a guy or I mugged a guy last night and got away with a lot of money.
Okay. Is this just somebody drinking in the brewery?
Yeah, it's just 2 blokes chatting. One of them touting last night's victories.
All right. So I will try to. I'm sitting there by myself. Is there any kind of entertainment? Is there anything else going on in this?
No. There's maybe 30 people standing around, patrons. Maybe 5 employees or workers here. Some of them are cleaning glasses. Some of them are passing out glasses. There's one guy on security, sort of a heavy-set feller, maybe in his late 20s or something, kind of young, but 6'2", 300 pounds, no armor, but like a really big knotted stick next to him hanging from his belt by a leather thong. Kind of just leaning against a wall, looking around, ready to stop anything that might start.
All right, I'll go up to is there a barkeeper or is he the brewer? Who's
Yeah, the barkeeper seems to be the guy running the place here.
Okay. Male or female?
The barkeeper is a female.
I say, excuse me, miss, would you mind if I were to play a set up there for no more pay than what your patrons choose to share with me?
But of
Seems like a
course,
benefit. Oh,
we would love you. How about free drinks in exchange?
even better.
Yeah, she
So,
motions to one of her workers to go clear some space for you, and you have a little small stage to play on.
all right. So I'm gonna do my best here. Although my choices of song going to be some things like "The Bandit and the Baroness" or other songs that have a bit of roguery to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm watching, not obviously, but watching those two that I overheard earlier to try to make sure that I get their interest.
Yeah. It doesn't take long for your songs about roguishness to catch their eye, and they, after making sure that they've sampled every single beer, and now are trying to go back and say, no, I didn't sample that one. That was my friend over there. Can I try that one, please? And they're trying to get their second or third round of drinks, come over and lean against the bar near to where you are, holding their conversation, but also giving you some of their attention in a sort of, is what's going on over here way.
All right. So I'll end my set after an appropriate number of songs and go to sit down next to them at the bar.
They come on over.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you go on over to them or whatever, yeah.
Okay. And I'll say, so this seems a sleepy enough little town.
You know, they only get put to sleep when bad musicians come to town and play, but you seem to be lively enough for all of us here. Tell me, is that song one of fact or fiction?
I think the best are a bit of both. It's all true, especially the lies.
Ain't that the truth? What's your name, fella?
I'm Leonardo.
Nice to meet you. My name's Raph, and that's my buddy over there, Don.
Well, have a seat. We'll leave another stool here open in case someone else should happen to join us.
They kind of look at the seat and go, yeah, Mike might be nearby soon. Whatever.
Yeah. And so I'll settle in, just sort of ask them about local news, but I'm making sure I'm talking at least as much as I'm asking. But in general, I found that if you ask people questions about themselves, or offer them a compliment about something, they'll start spilling all kinds of stuff more than they intended.
Yeah, and these guys are not, they're publicly talking, even if in Thieves' Camp, but they're still publicly talking about the work they've done last night. It doesn't take many prompts to get these guys to start spilling information that they know. It's kind of early in the morning, and there are a few flights in already as well. So after maybe 10 minutes or so, they start just talking about everything that's going on and how great life is over here, and how in their line of work, there's never been such a good time to be alive. Things are going so well. You couldn't imagine. You couldn't imagine.
Have they been obvious about what their line of work is?
No.
Okay.
Maybe to you, but not to anyone else standing around.
All right. Well, I'm not giving any indication that, I understand Thieves' Cant or anything. I'll mention, it seems pretty peaceful here. The roads seem pretty safe. Coming into town a few days ago, there was this woman that was traveling nearby. She just looked to be dressed normally enough, but we shared a campsite just to more on the road means more safety, and I can tell you, I heard a clink as I was going to sleep. She had this bag perhaps twice as big as your fist, and I saw her carefully counting out in the firelight gold.
A bag of gold the size of a fist?
Twice the size of a fist. Yeah,
That's
I wouldn't have been traveling with that amount, but apparently it must be fairly safe here.
well, it's not that safe. That woman is in a lot of danger.
You think
You
so?
know, you may not have heard, but one of the reasons that it's so good for us is we're Don and I are I'm sorry, Raph and I are mercenaries. You know, it's our job to protect the weak and rich. Do you think you could maybe introduce us to her? If she's carrying that much money, she needs protection.
I don't know. I last saw her going into the Forester, but I don't know if she was getting a room there or if she was just, if she was just stopping for a drink.
I mean, that's just down the
That
block.
that was a few days ago.
Oh. Well, what'd she look like? Maybe she's still there. You know, life is never too good to turn down a job. And
Maybe I don't know that she's giving any kind of jobs out. To be honest, she seemed a little hesitant even to travel with me. Very suspicious. I think she preferred to go about alone.
I mean, look at you. You're in your goatee. She was probably afraid that you were a mugger or something. You know, you just reek of I'm an evil monster. No offense or nothing. You're a great bard, but you know, bards, they can't be trusted. They go from town to town, and it could be anyone, right?
That's true. We are inherently shady.
And yes, but the hat, you're covered in shade the whole time. So, and you know, my mom always told me that life gives you opportunities, and you need to catch them when you can. So this sounds like an opportunity for us, to protect this woman and make some money doing it. What did you say she looked like? Maybe we can catch her.
Oh, she had short, straight black hair. I mean, she was about, I don't know, 5'3" or so, a little bit on the shortest side. About average build. As I said, she had kind of a secretive way about her. Not particularly friendly. Like I said, it seemed that only with reluctance did she want to travel with me. I don't know that I could tell you much beyond that.
Well,
like I said, it seemed like there was more to her than
you know, we probably aren't gonna find her though. If that was a few days ago, she's probably left town. Hey Raph, do you think it's you know, we should go talk to your sister because she's got that job for us, you know? So, hey, it was really nice to meet you. You say your name was Leonardo, right? Yeah. It was real lovely to meet you, and he reaches out his hand for you.
It was my pleasure.
And they quickly exit the building on the south side and, well, vanish from sight, going who knows where.
Yes, who knows where. Don't know what got them leaving in a hurry.
Well, they are definitely gone now. What are you gonna do?
I am going to go play at the inn across from the Forester. What was its name?
The Last Home.
I am going to go to the Last Home, and I am going to play, assuming that they'll let me. I don't know if there's anybody else playing there.
I don't think there's anybody else playing there. Let me just take a look at the layout of the room, and then I can tell you if they have a spot for you to play. Let's see. Let's bring you over to this. And take a look at the ground floor over here. Let's zoom out just a touch. So let's see. The ground floor is... the ground floor does not have... I think that's just an inn here. I don't think they have any taverns down below. There is a guild hall in the northwest corner. I guess you could consider it an inn, but it's only for guild members. But they do have an open hall over here where you could hang out and play. And there's some windows that look towards the Forester.
All right, I shall go and see if they'll let me play. I mean, this is an age without TV or cell phones, so they've got nothing in terms of entertainment except for people like me.
Sure enough, they will definitely let you play. The traveling minstrels are few and far between, and the guild hall needs entertainment. How are you supposed to entertain or how are you supposed to have a whole bunch of potters hanging out if they don't have any music to listen to? I mean, you know those potters, they love their music. If they don't have it, it's not the same. So yeah, they give you a little spot, probably near the front door, because these are fireplaces here and here. I guess you could maybe stand on a table or maybe just walk up and down the hall. Doesn't look like there's much room for a stage.
All right, well, fireplace sounds good. I'll set myself up by the fireplace over in this corner. It looks like there's some windows. I'm going to play, not looking out the windows, but I am going to play, loudly. I'll sing very boisterously to make sure that anyone in the Forester can hear that there's music going on over here.
Okay.
And I guess, given the guild hall, I'll play, start off with The Clever Merchant and the Three Foolish Nobles.
That sounds like a song they would love here. Yeah, so why don't you give me a performance check, and we'll see how alluring your music is. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. Why is your set so amazingly strong?
Talent.
All right. Talent. Sure enough, people...
I engage the audience, I do a lot of the really cheesy stuff. I'm singing, I sing about, like when I get to the part about where the merchant is outsmarting the first foolish noble, I'm like, get them laughing, like, this guy knows, this guy, he knows what I'm talking about, all that stupid stuff.
Yeah. All right, so you're hamming it up, and bit by bit, patrons from the other tavern start coming over here to at least take a look. They're not guild members, so they can't really come inside and hang out, but they can stand in the streets and hang out. And so one by one, they start making their way over here. Oftentimes with their ale from the Forester, and then just kind of standing nearby. Doing what they can to see what's going on.
All right, so I work the crowd. Anybody ever when I crowd? Anybody ever tell you you're beautiful? No, I must be wrong. And and I'll greet the people outside. Oh, look at this! We got standing room only.
Yeah, it's an attractive little show, and a small group is gathering over here. That's about when you hear a shout and a cry coming from across the street. You can't make out the words over the music and everyone laughing, but it does kind of pierce the audience. And people start looking around, especially the people in the street start looking left and right, and then all looking towards the Forester, and you can see through the open door some people pointing.
All right, if people are pointing, I'll go, by Martha's light, and I'll run over to the Forester, not like with a weapon drawn or anything, but like a well-intentioned looky-loo.
Right. So you make your way down over towards the Forester, and there is that guy named Raph. He is out cold on the ground, like totally out cold. And the other guy nearby, his name was Dawn. And Dawn is leaning against the inside wall of the Forester, holding his belly with blood just kind of dripping between his fingers, looking wide-eyed and like leaning back, just kind of staring up.
All right, I'll move in to see this, and as if in horror, kind of back up, almost as if absently up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And just as if I'm trying to take all this in and looking amazed and looking very scared.
You hear calls for guards, and one of the nearby patrons comes over and tries to staunch the bleeding from between Dawn's fingers, but it becomes apparent pretty quickly that this guy doesn't know how to do it, and that Dawn's life is fleeting. Give me a perception check from your position up against the wall. Not very good.
Yeah, I'm too busy acting.
Okay. So your back is to the wall, and you can see here that Wilkins is positioned, or was positioned, right here. But by the time that you've made your show that you're just a looky-loo and glance around, Wilkins is no longer there. She has slipped away or disappeared somehow while you were paying attention to the ongoings.
All right, did she look injured in any way?
No, you caught a quick glance at her when you first stepped in, and she was standing there, no weapons in hand, just kind of standing. Let me show you exactly where she was for a brief moment. Wasn't all the way in the corner. It was, she was kind of she was more or less here when you first stepped in, and then gone when you looked back later.
All right, she dispatched those two pretty quickly. She might be more than second level.
So let's do a quick check-in with you and your plans thus far. You are a first-level rogue. Mm-hmm. You have the stats that are on screen right now. Our current mission is safe, meaning the assassin is to live. It is chase, meaning the target is... actually, I think this is simple. Did we change it to simple? I think it is. It's simple and open. I'll correct the overlay in a moment, meaning the target doesn't know that you're coming to kill her, and that the manner of her death is not particularly important. She's at least second level and a rogue, but her exact stats, HP, and AC, and all those things are unknown. If you'd like to gauge her stats, you can observe her doing some sort of task for like 10 minutes and then make some checks to figure out what her stats might be or where they might be and help you adjust her HP or her AC. And I'll fill in any relevant information for you as it comes along. What are your... Can you let us in on what you're planning at all?
I didn't expect our I don't know if they're teenage or not, but our friends to act quite so soon. I was hoping to already have made her acquaintance when they showed up, and to make a show of how ineffectual I was compared to her, to let down her guard that I had any idea what I was doing or that I was anything but a foppish bard.
Mm-hmm.
But they apparently had a little more initiative than I thought they would.
Yeah.
Thought they might wait for dark or something.
Being a couple flights in, around 10 or 11 in the morning, we'll do that to you. It'll make you rash and act improperly. Did you get any information out of this at all, you think? Anything useful?
The fact that she dispatched them that quickly took out both of them apparently. So with the one that was out cold, was he like knocked unconscious, or was he stabbed unconscious, dying?
No, he was knocked unconscious. You can gather from the audience around that these two gentlemen came up to this lady and started talking to her, and then out of nowhere, she punched one of them. The other one went for a weapon, and she stabbed the guy going for a weapon. While the one that was punched kind of stumbled through the street and just fell on the ground and hit his own head. So that's the scene that played out while you were
on the ground and hit his own head, as if, oh, I don't know, poisoned. The one she punched hit his own head?
Yeah, like she hit a guy and he tripped or something on the threshold and like fell and hit his head on the ground.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe the guy who stabbed fell.
No. The guy who was stabbed just got stabbed and bled to death.
All right, so I'm gonna play the very curious onlooker, and I'm sure everybody who's here wants to be a star and talk about what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna specifically ask where she pulled the knife from, but I do give people a lot of lead, and maybe ask, she just like pulled a knife out of nowhere, or
give me a persuasion. Is persuasion the right skill here, or deception? If we're trying to, what skill would you use to try and get people to say something without saying it? That seems like either a persuasion or a deception, but I'm not sure which one.
It seems like it might be more deception, because I'm trying to get information out of them without revealing that I'm not trying to persuade them to tell me something.
I'll take it. Give me a deception check.
All right, which unfortunately is too lower than my persuasion, but
I appreciate your honesty here. 13 will definitely do it for us, since we're not rolling with advantage. These people love a gossip, and everyone wants to tell you their story. It seems that she didn't reach anywhere, The dagger was nowhere, and all of a sudden, she had her arms crossed while they were talking, and then boom, dagger in her hand, just literally out of nowhere.
When I saw her, was she wearing long sleeves, and were they particularly loose sleeves?
They were not long sleeves. They were kind of down to the elbow-ish, but she did have one of those shirts that is like two fabrics that are crossed over, like almost like a bathrobe, but you know how shirts can cross like that too? So there's the inner pocket between the two crossed fabrics, like a gi or something. Or a robe.
All right, so if she had her arms crossed, maybe she had it somewhere on her upper body in some sort of, like an under the shoulder sheath or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So not in a boot. Not
no.
Hidden in long. Well, she has short hair, so that
right
took out hiding a weapon in long hair or in a bun or something. All right, so a little bit of information. So I'll just, be one. I don't draw attention to myself, but I imagine lots of people are asking questions. For the most part, I'll let others ask a lot of the questions, and I'll, just listen in and only pop in here and there to ask some innocent things.
Okay.
Just generally be shocked, and maybe buy some people some drinks to hear the story.
Well, after chatting for a few minutes, the town guard shows up. It is led by the captain of the guard, a gentleman named Bronson, who wears a red shirt with gold and green trim, brown pants, and high boots. He's got a cudgel at his side and speaks with a booming voice. He's got his two guards with him. And Bronson comes in and talking real, kind of taking up the presence of the room with his authoritative voice. All right, everybody, tell me what happened. Who the hell are these people? That guy's waking up. Someone arrest him quickly. who's this guy? How did he get stabbed? And starts asking questions. And everyone pitches in to tell him their version of events, which seems like the two gentlemen came on in. They seemed friendly, if a little maybe intoxicated, and started talking to the girl, the woman. 30s woman. One of the serving ladies here said that she was bringing drinks over to them and she could hear a tone in the lady's voice that she was not happy with these two people who seemed to be pestering her. And then another person nearby, or who claims to have been nearby, says that these guys kept telling her that she needed protection and that they had the best rates in town. It's just, a gold a day per mercenary to defend her and her property from anything. And she kept saying, it's fine. I don't need you to guard me. I'm okay. And they pushed the matter. And then, before you knew it, one guy's on the ground and the other guy's bleeding, and he had a weapon in his hand, and no one knows whether it was self-defense or assault or murder or what it was. That's kind of the scene that's playing out.
All right, and so that we don't go, hey, Rob never mentions the cat except in very rare circumstances when it's useful. I am petting the cat, playing with Sophie absently as I listen to people here. I take one of the ribbons from my lute, I dangle it and she goes for it, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because nothing disarms people's suspicions like, being nice to a cute little animal.
Everyone loves animals, and if you love animals, then you must be a good person. Eventually, the sheriff gets around to you and says, "You there, musician, were you playing here at the time of the incident?"
I wasn't, Officer Bronson, but apparently these people had a death wish or something dealing with her.
Do you know the woman in question?
No, but and I'll point to one of the people who was sharing the stories, like that. And over there, he saw the whole thing, and he told me how she just dispatched both of them, within as fast as he could blink.
Well, these two are notorious about town. I've seen them both in jail twice this year so far. So I'm inclined to believe this one was a matter of self-defense, and these poor fools just bit off more than they could chew. Thieves, usually. Bronson looks to the guards and kind of gives them a take the bodies away motion, and goes over to the bartender to apologize for the mess, and looks around one last time for any last bit of information that he might need. I'm satisfied. And begins to leave while his men drag the bodies down the street.
So, wow, with Officer Bronson on duty, I'm sure that he'll be more than enough to deal with the evil that men do.
Oh yes, definitely. Sheriff Bronson's a good one. He's a real good one.
Sounds like he's putting on a real crackdown.
Well, I guess I have such faith in him. When he speaks, I just feel protected by him. He's got that voice that just wraps you in warmth and tells you everything's going to be okay. If we had crime statistics, I would love to look at them, but those haven't been invented yet, so I just feel much safer when he's around.
Yeah, he's definitely the kind of officer you'd want on duty when there's someone behind the door.
Yeah. I'm just not getting it. No, I don't get it either. Oh, okay, cool. Definitely. And I guess the crowd begins to slowly disperse.
I guess none of these other people have seen Charles Bronson movies.
Haven't.
I assume that was why you named this guy Bronson.
I just needed a name, and I'm bad at naming things. But why don't we go to our first break, because it's been just about an hour. We have 2 more hours of this coming up. We are, done with the orientation phase. We are in phase 2 of the game, which is the assess your target phase. Then we'll eventually get to phase 3, which is the setup. Phase 4, which is the execution, and the all-important phase 5, escaping without being caught. And that's what we have to look forward to in our next 2 hours. So we will see you in a little bit. Bye.